Hey everybody, welcome to the Old Nerd in the Gym Fitness Podcast. This is Gery. Julie's wandering over that way somewhere. Where are you, Julie? There's Julie. And we're here with Carmen Milano. Say hi, Carmen.
Hey, hi.
I'm going to flip the camera around. Carmen's going to show us around Kula Cooperative, which is her teaching space here in Yellow Springs, Ohio. And let me flip this over, and then hopefully we can just do it like this.
So how about if we come in the door?
Yeah, let's just start from the beginning here.
So,
Walking, talking,
good. So as you come into our wonderful studio, you see a wall of windows on the right, a beautiful wooden floor, our beams, and plenty of space to set up your props, to enjoy yourself, and to be with other people.
It's very zen in here.
Very zen, just on its own. And then we do have plenty of what we call props.
So explain props to us.
Okay.
So some people don't know much about yoga. Let's inform them.
Yes, so props are things that we use in the practice. And in my class, chairs are always optional to sit in a chair if getting down to the floor on a cushion is not comfortable. So chairs are always optional. Many people will come down to the floor using what we refer to as yoga mats, which we have many of, which are rolled up and they give a little cushion to the floor and a little traction.
So does everyone use mats? Some people use blankets alone?
No.
Or?
And typically, one of the reasons you don't want to use a blanket alone, especially on a floor like this that has a nice finish, is that
It's slippery.
it's slippery. You can
Yes.
slip and fall if your blanket is not on top of what we call a sticky mat. It's not really sticky.
It's just
It's
got
just
a
spongy.
tread to it.
Has a
Hit
trend
the
to it.
floor enough that it doesn't slide.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have plenty of our mats, and then we talked a little bit in practice in our interview about using what's called a resistance band, and different resistance bands have different amount of resistance. Some are a little easier to stretch than the other. I believe in them 1,000%, so we have plenty of those. Then we also have plenty of blankets. Some are wool, some are not, because some people have sensitivity to wool.
Yes, we do.
And we have lots of what we call bolsters, which are cushions to sit on. We have some other shaped cushions here. So when we sit or when we're in a reclined position to relax, the bolsters and the blankets and the cushions and all that all contribute to setting ourselves up to relax. And here,
Blocks.
we do have blocks. Some of our practices, we use blocks that help us to get into poses supporting our body and keeping us elevated a little bit.
So is there a certain type of move that requires a block versus what you would use the bolster? I've seen people sit on the blocks.
Yes, so sometimes they sit on the blocks, which is great. Sometimes sit on the blocks because the blocks are sturdier. You know, a bolster or cushion has
Squashes.
a certain squash. And that will, in some cases, cause us to slump a little bit. So sometimes sitting on the block just gives you that much more support, and your body ends up rising up rather than squishing into the bolster. So, and then as far as using blocks and poses, it depends on your own flexibility, the length of your arms, that kind of thing. So some people can do a lunge without blocks. I prefer to do a lunge with blocks because it just lets me get my spine in the
You
proper
don't have to go
position.
down so far.
Exactly, I don't end up rounding down. So it can vary from posture to posture and person to person.
Okay. And
And then we
else
have
do
the
we
big
floor.
sort of grand.
so we
open
took over your
space.
floor. This is the podcast space. In case
Yeah.
you listen to the podcast, this is where we were.
Yep.
And we're not broken down yet, so
Yes.
we're still looking at things.
And so in my case, typically I will teach from this portion of the room, and people will be set up out here in the grand portion facing in this direction.
And you have an amazing space here with
Amazing space.
plenty of light.
Yeah.
The view is beautiful.
The view is beautiful all seasons. Things
Let me come around
growing,
this
when
way.
there's snow, it's fantastic, so.
And
we
a
have
big
some
plant on wheels.
plants in the room.
You need a
which
big
is
plant on
great.
wheels.
Yeah.
Is that required for yoga practice?
It's not.
There's a lot of places with big plants on wheels around here. That's why
Yeah, well, I think it has more to do with watering them and
it's easier to move them around.
getting them out of the way.
They
Exactly
have to
right.
be on wheels because they're very heavy.
Yes, yes.
So, do you have, and obviously this is a local space. Somebody wouldn't travel here from a real far distance
Right.
to go to a yoga class.
Right.
How many different types of classes do you hold here?
Well, in this position, this place at Kula Cooperative, There are 3 yoga classes a week, the Wednesday morning, the Friday morning, the Saturday morning. And then the Tuesday night Nia class, which is a dance class. So currently, those 4. Now, periodically, there's another movement class called Delicious Movement, which is great, on Friday at noon. But
There's food after?
there's not. It's just delicious to move. But also, this is a great space. Kids love this space. And so 2 or 3 times a year, there are kids' practices, whether they're workshops or whole week classes. The summer camp class was just held 2 weeks ago. 15 kids in here. They do crafts, they do dance, they do yoga, they do storytelling. They learn about their civic duties and things like that. So kids love this space.
So something I didn't ask during the podcast was a good thing to throw into this is, do kids do yoga?
Oh, yes. There's so many.
What are the ages of that? I
well,
can't see. A little kid kind of does it on their own.
They do. So you can participate. You can bring children into the practice from the point of, yes, just any toddler. And so there are mom and baby classes. So there are some kids who have been doing yoga since they were in the womb and when they were infants and that kind of thing. And so depending on what you can find, kids of any age can participate in yoga. And very often in those cases, those teachers are very good at imagery with animals and birds and all that. So they might name the poses just a little differently, like a mermaid.
So the kid can understand it a little bit.
And there can be some storytelling along
I need
with
that class.
Yeah,
Well,
you
they're
would
already
love that.
named after- They're already named after animals.
Yes.
Cobra.
There are and there are many,
Oh,
many
that hurts.
kids yoga books and videos and all of that.
Okay. Is there anything?
What's up with the goat yoga? I want to know what Carmen thinks.
Would you like to tell us about goat yoga?
So-
We're gonna ask about goat yoga because I think this is ridiculous.
So I've heard of it, and I actually have one friend who I think her daughter took her down to the Cincinnati area for goat yoga. So my understanding of goat yoga from reading in articles is that it's an outdoor practice. People have
What they would do to this floor?
exactly have their mats outside, and there are goats which primarily are not.
They're little goats.
They're little goats.
The ones I saw were little baby
But they
Nubians.
periodically jump on you.
Yes.
They jump
so-
on you.
So
Why would you want a goat to jump on you?
I don't want a goat to jump on me.
I don't want any creature to jump on me.
Completely throw off all of my zen
Exactly.
if a goat just suddenly jumps.
Exactly.
Okay, I have to put it for the record. I really don't like goats.
Yeah.
Like
I
I
love-
didn't have good experience with goats when I was growing up,
Yeah,
and I don't.
I've
like
had
goats.
very little experience. It's been positive. I think they're fascinating. But also there are lots of classes been around where people do yoga with their dogs.
Yes.
Okay, now my dogs would tear this place apart. 'cause
dogs
that's
need
the way
yoga,
they're-
though? I
It's
mean,
not that it's not
it's
that
for the
they
person,
need it.
obviously.
Small dogs, right?
No,
No,
some
big
are
dogs.
Big dogs.
Big dogs.
But
I've seen that.
your dog would have to be like mellow and all that, and so it is a great pack bonding experience. But you know, if I brought my dogs in here, it would be torn to shreds.
They would lose it.
Yeah,
Only dogs of 15 years old or older. And
Senior dogs.
very, very
yeah.
Bring your
it's-
dog.
Yeah, so we don't do goat or dog yoga.
There needs to be there needs to be cow yoga, because
Cow
little
yoga.
baby cows would love yoga.
Yeah.
Cows. We should be eating horses and training cows because cows are much smarter. Anyway,
There you go.
I have an issue with that. So, well, thank you. That
Yeah.
does a lot. Here's the whole space. Say bye, Julie.
Bye.
And thank you again, Carmen. And
Bye.
we'll see you next time. And hopefully, my walking around with the camera didn't make you too dizzy.
Yes.
We'll see you next time at Old Nerd in
I'll
the Gym.
fix it.
Post production. Bye.